Welcome back for another episode of Mas Que Un podcast. I am here with Buga. We're going to be discussing Barcelona drawing Rayo Vallecano. Shouldn't be surprised, but we're going to be talking about the match results. Here, Buga has a hot take that we're going to start out with. And then, of course, we'll get into some other Barcelona news that comes up. Buga, how are we doing today, sir?
We're good. We're good. It's been kind of tense. You can ask John about that this last few minutes, but I'm here. I don't know. Sometimes when your mind just goes somewhere else, and you just need something to drag you down to reality. That is Mr. Mustache here for me. He brings me back to reality when my mind is just floating around in nonsense. But
I do what I can.
Yeah. But anyhow, so what I want to talk about is not really a hot take, but it's kind of like there was an interview, a podcast that they made with Ferran Torres. I don't know if you've seen some of the sneak that maybe some pages translated or not on Twitter. Nothing, no?
I have not. I got to say, but before you keep going, there's a lot of news that if it's not in English directly, does not make its way overseas here. I have to do a better job of seeking it out directly, I think. Because if it's not in English, very often it doesn't pop up in my feed.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm here. I'm going to bring you that news now. And what it was, it's a podcast between this guy in Spain that he's called his podcast like The Wild Project or something like that. I've seen some of his podcasts. Yeah, some of his podcasts before. But he interviewed Ferran Torres, and they talk a little bit about everything, when he signed for Barça, when he started out in Valencia, City, talking with Pep, everything. So there are some certain things that he touched upon. So maybe we can do like a little, if you have some questions about it regarding something, I can answer because I've seen that already 2 times. Because as you know, Ferran Torres is my spirit animal. And he helps me quite a lot with those things. And it's been quite of like, I've been hearing certain things in that interview. The very first one is that, the little problem that happened between Lamine Yamal and Lewandowski a few
we're
days
talking
ago.
about Lewandowski denying the high five from Lamine Yamal.
Yeah, it's been like so it's been he didn't deny it. That's what it's not like he didn't say Lewandowski didn't see Lamine Yamal. He was just like in the moment he just it's certain things that you do and something like that you avoid. But it's like when I listened to that, when I heard that, I was like, okay, I understand that. But you're not denying it and you're not saying anything about that. I don't want to be, the one to stir the pot up or anything like that. But it just sounded to me like, okay, I understand that can happen, but in reality, I don't see that happening with many other players. Like maybe it was just that moment that we kind of shot and we kind of like, turned over proportion. But it just caught me a little bit by surprise because it's like, you still expect a little bit more from Lewandowski in a situation like that. I don't want to be the guy, like I said once again, to make this sound more worse than it is, or to put more. I don't know, in Spanish you say put more like wood on the fire or something like that. I don't know if he translates to English, but yeah. What do you think about that?
I think it's an interesting situation with Lewandowski right now. I'll say, just watching him, he doesn't seem happy, particularly compared to last year. He just doesn't seem settled, and I think maybe part of it, tell me if you think I'm onto something here, maybe part of it is that Lewandowski is very much the outsider at this club in terms of age, in terms of not being from La Masia, in terms of style of play, and maybe he's feeling that disconnect, and maybe that dismissal of Lamine was expressing something a little bit deeper. We could, like you said, we could brush it off. We could say, hey, it happens. Older veteran kind of showing the youngster, no, it's not cool. Like, get your head in the game with, this isn't something to take lightheartedly, that kind of thing. But I think it is something deeper. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think it has to do something as well, like very similar, because I do think like someone like a Gundogan, for instance, may fall into that spectrum of going to Lewandowski. Making like a group. And I think when you work as a team, you're a specialist in communication, or I like to say that to myself when I explain who I work with. But groups are never good when it's about like teammates. You just want to be like all together, and sometimes it's just a little bit kind of, it happens, right? But in this instance, when I heard the interview between Ferran Torres and them, and we have Pablo joining us.
Pablo's in the house. There he is.
I'm gonna finish my point, and then we're gonna ask Pablo what the hell just happened. Okay, why was he late?
Yeah, Pablo's got to stand in front of the class and explain why he's late.
I think he fell asleep, maybe. But okay, what happened is that they started talking about little groups that occur in the team, and Ferran Torres basically said, "Okay, I'm a very good friends with the group of the Spanish people. Like we just formed, we have formed. They say we have formed a very good group with Marcos Alonso, with Xavi, with Pedri, with Eric Garcia before he left, with Oriol Romeo, and they say we don't only sit together in lunch. Like we go out, we go to the beach. He said like different things that they do together, and it's like, that's amazing, right? Good for you guys. But it's like when I'm talking about a team, I'm talking about a collective. Like I would like them going out, but ideally, maybe they do, right? But he just didn't mention it with the Lewandowskis, with the Gundogan. Maybe it's because they're younger, right? Too, but it's not just
that. It's Lewandowski's married.
Exactly.
It is a very different, as coming from the married man on the podcast. Tough to go out with young guys. All right, different hours of operations, different commitments in terms of when you got to be home, where you're spending your time, that kind of thing. And for someone like a Lewandowski, I got to imagine, you know, his wife wouldn't be too happy with him going out clubbing till, you know, who knows when, with these young boys doing who knows what. So I think that could be part of it too.
But like I said, I think it could be that, right? It could, that's perfectly fine. But just the fact that you're building more like trust between a certain group, I think that hurts a little bit still the dynamic. I've seen that happen in work groups, with coworkers, and it does happen. Like, and I do think that perhaps, and he was talking about, Barcelona, we're very together, we're united. He says something like that. I didn't buy it. I didn't. When he spoke, I just wasn't buying it. But it could just be me and, you know, my crazy state of mind. But but let's go to another crazy state of mind, and let's see, Pablo. ¿Qué pasó, amigo?
Hello, guys. You can probably hear I've been quite ill this weekend. It's slowly leaving, but I was just sort of relaxing there on my bed, and then just lost track of time completely, and then just like dashed out of my bed in like a complete panic. So first question, how long have you actually been going for? How much have I actually missed?
Only like 6 or 7 minutes. I think we started like maybe 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, really just starting things off. Buga was filling me in. Apparently, Ferran Torres had a interview in Spanish, so it didn't really make its way onto my feed.
Yeah.
And giving me some of those highlights.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Haven't really gotten into the Rayo match much at all.
Okay.
So you can bring it. Bring it.
Yeah. Where's your head at, Pablo? How's things been, aside from being sick, which that's a bummer.
Yeah.
How things been Barça wise? Where's your head at?
Yeah, well, one of those games, lying in bed completely ill, and then watching that. I mean, it was probably the game we were all expecting, to be honest. I think, unfortunately, you know what? If it was a real shame, because it was one of those games that we really needed to win. We had to win it, really. I mean, Real Madrid have gone and beaten Cadiz. Atletico Madrid have beaten Mallorca. We had to win that game, really. And it seemed inevitable that we wouldn't win it. A few players out, obviously, but I still thought the lineup we had were good enough. I don't actually think Rayo were as good as they have been actually at home against us in the last few years. And actually, I think Barcelona were probably a bit better than they have been in the last few weeks. I don't know if I'm the only one in that camp, but that was my analysis of the game. I don't think we were as bad as we were against Alaves, or against Shakhtar, or against Real Sociedad. I actually think that. I actually think that we did a solid enough job. So that's what's probably even more frustrating. I think that we created probably enough chances. We were comfortable enough in the game. I didn't think we gave many, almost if any at all. Either the goal we conceded is really sloppy, like completely out of nowhere. And do I think it was an amazing performance? No, but I think it was probably good enough to go to Vallecas and get 3 points, actually. I think we probably created and did enough in the second half. So, yeah, so frustrating to slip up and not get all 3 points in the bag. But it was also one of those games that felt like we weren't going to do it. And I definitely feel like, again, I'm interested in what you guys think about this. I think there were a few decisions that went against us.
I wanted to talk about the no penalty calls. But before we get to that, looking at this match, if you pointed this out on the calendar at the start of the season, I would say a 1-1 draw with Rayo away from home is fine, based off of how we've been playing against them the last few seasons, 2-3 years. 1-1 draw away from home, sure. I think what makes this a little bit more impactful is just where it falls in the season, how we've been playing going into this match, and the fact that we're really looking for a spark. We're really looking for a turnaround. This wasn't it, but I'm with you that this kind of was the expected result.
Yeah, it was the expected result. When I saw this game kind of pop up in the calendar, I was like, yeah, this is Rayo Vallecano. This is a team we usually don't beat. But it's still, I go back to the same thing. Like, it's a result we're sort of expecting, but isn't it wrong that we're expecting this? Like we shouldn't be expecting this. I'm done. I'm done with mediocrity, to be honest. And I kind of already want Barcelona to start.
All right, Gundogan, jeez, calm down, bro.
I want Barcelona to start, winning those games that were difficult. Like, for instance, last year there was one game that for me was a must-win game for me, because I think it would have given us an incredible push, just for what we mean and are perceived as a club. And that is the second leg against Manchester United in Europa League. Like, I don't care if you lose after that, but just beat a freaking team, and I think Rayo Vallecano, although it's like, of course it's Rayo Vallecano, it's not Manchester United, but maybe Rayo Vallecano are better than Manchester United. It's like, it's kind of like Xavi's bogey team. And it's this sort of result that we've kind of not been able to beat, like Real Valencia. I was going to say Real Valencia. Real Sociedad kind of sort of was our stepping, our obstacle these few seasons ago as well. And this is what I sort of want Barcelona to be able to capitalize on. And when it comes to reality, I don't have the confidence anymore when I look at this team. I like the players. I love them to death. But there's not a player right now in the team when I go out there and I see the game, they go, okay, this guy can win us the game. Like this guy can be like, I'm confident because this guy can like provide us that. And there are players, of course, that have the talent to do that, but simply right now the team is not ticking. So I don't have that confidence right now. But yeah, that's just me, and it's a little bit harsh. Yes, I agree, but I don't know. It's been a bit difficult to swallow for me these past few games.
Yeah, I don't understand why we can't get more service into Lewandowski. I really, truly just don't understand. The timing from the ball in to the run just isn't, it's just not there. And I don't know if it's because Xavi's asking him to make different runs than what he would go for if he was just focused on getting on the end of crosses. You know what I mean? Maybe it's because you hear Barcelona players talk a lot about waiting for that second and that third wave of runs, particularly when you get down towards the end line, not just feeding it across, but being patient, waiting for that second and third run to come in. But that second and third run, that's not Lewandowski. He's run number one. No. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's frustrating. It is frustrating for me. So let's talk about the penalties then. Let's go. Which one happened first? For me, well, was it Lewandowski's, right, where he got pulled down? Did you guys go back and see the video of that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a two-hand grab.
It's an RKO out of nowhere.
Pulls him down. I don't understand. I said on Twitter that any other club, any other player, that's a penalty, that's a red card. I really, truly don't understand how it's not.
I mean, I'll go first on that. By the way, I think the points we just made actually are very true as well. I agree with what Paul was saying. I think Barcelona have unfortunately sort of turned into a team who have become that side where we're going into games away to Rayo and we're not going to win it, which is really frustrating. It's exactly what we said. We wanted to get rid of what we shouldn't have this season with this group of players, but it feels like we've got it again. Like, tough game with him, we think now. And yeah, you're right about the Man U game last season. It would have been like a turning point, and we have become a bit soft, and we do need to feed Lewandowski more. I don't think that's something to be ashamed of. Feeding one of the all-time top goal scorers, get the ball to him. You know, it's not rocket science, but we seem like scared to do that because of his age or something. Feed him; he's going to score. Anyway,
like the only time we fed him in the last game, he scored the header out of nowhere. So it's he's the world-class striker. Just give him the ball.
It's very frustrating.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And with the penalties and the refereeing, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, this is one of the main reasons I love having the BARÇA podcast on it, because I can sort of reserve my anger on Twitter and sort of come out on it. Because I think when you put it into a tweet, people just like hammer you and call you salty, but you can sound a lot more like nuanced and calm on a podcast, and that's what I'm going to say. Sorry, look, we've all said it for years, Barcelona fans, and in my opinion, it's been running through Spain for decades of the favouritism towards Real Madrid, and I mean, certainly referee-wise, with many other things in Spain, and certainly through football, you know, the stuff that's been, you know, put against Barcelona, you could say, certainly refereeing-wise, and we had the blip in the summer where the whole Negreira case came through, and all of the Spanish media could claim that Barcelona had been paying referees, still something that hasn't been proved. Referees have come out and said that just isn't true, that never happened. And if you go through it back and watch past seasons of La Liga, you'll see that could have never happened, because if we paid 8 million for that, I mean, that would have been the bloody robbery, not the fact that we've been paying 8 million, the fact that they've been doing that to us.
There was that one game against Chelsea, that one time in Champions League, where if you just watch the clips that somebody put up on YouTube of the missed calls that in favor of Barcelona, it looks completely egregious. But I'll say, now I snap out of being sarcastic, I'll say, even when you look at that match, I've gone back and watched those two legs, the full 90 minutes. It was just terrible refereeing on both sides, right? A lot of the calls that went Barcelona's way in the second leg, I think, were makeup calls. So anyway, I'm with you. I don't think Barcelona, if you've been watching the matches, we have not been favored. In fact, you look back on the Neymar, the Dani Alves, some of the, you know, Busquets in his early days, known for diving, known for the what's it called, simulation. Referees were not giving us anything at all.
Am I just like the guy who is like the grumpy dude where I go like, we shouldn't be in a position even to discuss this. Like, I don't think it's gonna change.
Sure.
And like, even though winning in this situation, like last season, winning was incredible, because winning against this is even better. You know, winning against adversity is even better. So I do like that, and it's super frustrating. But in my head, I've just completely locked it out of my system. Like, there's nothing we can do about it, and in this system right now, there's nothing we can do about it. But even any team, even in the Champions League before VAR and everything like that, when Real Madrid won the three-peat, I was gonna say, I always said to like anyone who I watch football, it's like, when you start arguing about, okay, Ronaldo being offside against Bayern Munich, like, yeah, it can happen, but it's annoying. Of course, it's annoying. But if you're a good team, you should be. You cannot be relying on only that. Like, you should rely on you scoring a goal to not put yourself in that position. Of course, it's very frustrating and it's easier said than done. But that's just for me, it's the sort of way that I look at these refereeing problems. You know, I don't feel. Look, Barcelona may have won this game because if we have gotten a penalty or two, of course, but it's not like Barcelona deserved to win the game. In my opinion, I don't think we played as good to be able to win the game. I think one half we were shit, and the other one half we were good.
Who would come in with the high standards?
Yeah, like I agree. I don't think Barcelona are good enough, and that's why I'd always think when we come on the podcast after drop points, we should always talk about the performance first, 100%. And that's what Barcelona need to improve. That the referees, they do need to improve, and that's not something
Yeah.
we can change. We need to improve, no doubt about it. But in my
it should
opinion,
be we're sitting here complaining about not getting a penalty call for a third or a fourth goal, not a second, you know.
Yeah. But that's we're not always going to be 2 or 3 up. It's still football, and you do still need to be treated fairly. And the fact of the matter is, if that was Real Madrid, they would have been given one. And unfortunately, because of this whole Negreira case, in my opinion, Real Madrid have been able to completely run over this league again. And it's unfortunate because people aren't talking about it. They're just not, because they never will at the high level. Because it's an institutional thing that goes right throughout Spain that you just don't speak about. You just keep hush about it. Barcelona have been getting robbed now quite poorly, actually, in my opinion, for several games, actually, over the course of the season. I look back to the match week 1 even, when we were drawing against Getafe, and for me, I've never seen a more stonewall penalty when he kicks through Araujo's leg in the 96th minute. And the ref went to the monitor, looked at it, and thought, nah. Because apparently Xavi pushed someone. I thought, okay, look, what league are we in for this season? And I was not, and bloody hell was I spot on, because they just kept doing it. Last minute, Rafinha. There's a team of 4 officials watching, looking as Rafinha gets kicked from underneath his leg. They don't even utter a word to the referee. Play on. You're not doing your jobs. Simple calls that, unfortunately, guys, I have to say it without being on text on Twitter. You can see the truth. They would be given for Real Madrid. So,
zing! Get the comments going down below. Quick interjection. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, all the good things. We are growing this community here on Más que un podcast.
I just want to step in and say that is something we always say. Like, we should say it at the start of the podcast, but we always forget, and we just end up saying it at any time we remember.
Have we, not to deter too much, but have we talked at all yet on this podcast about the increased likelihood of Vitor Roque joining in January now that Xavi is sort of off the salary cap, so to speak, for Barcelona? Have we talked about this yet? I don't think we've talked about this.
No, we haven't.
How much is that going to impact Barcelona? First of all, where's he going to play? Second of all, is that going to be the saving grace? Is that going to see? Is that where we're going to see Barcelona actually open things up offensively?
Maybe. Like I was listening to Football Ranks, which is another podcast that I really like.
What? You were listening to another podcast, Booga? You're cheating on our podcast? Wow, dude. Okay. I mean, I only listen to this podcast, so but that's fine.
Okay. And they had a guy who they kind of were ranking the top 5 South American experts. And look, I'm from South America, and I don't watch South American football, so I kind of need to get myself more knowledgeable about this football around in this continent. But anyhow, he ranked all of the different players that I heard and he's put Vitor Roque like in first position by a landslide. And we're talking about someone who like lives and breathes South American football, and he put Vitor Roque first by I'm saying like a landslide. He said like it's not even a confession. Vitor Roque for me is the best player probably South America will export in the last few years. And I'm like, wow, that's a very big call. I didn't know he was like that touted or anything like that, and that made me actually way more eager to see him play. And I do think that if there is one thing that he can bring to the team right now, is that sort of spark speed, that just like, you know, that flair out of nowhere, just to sort of create something. And he can be, I think, a very good substitute when we're coming off the bench. I do think that's the sort of player. When I look at Rafinha, he can also bring that. I really like how Rafinha entered into the game against Vallecano. I do think that, I don't know what is with Brazilians, maybe it's just a stereotypic, but it's like they just inject their team with something else. And I feel that that's right now what we're missing. That's probably the worst analysis anybody has said in any football thing ever. Like, he's just Brazilian, he's good. But that's literally what I'm saying.
We don't have enough Brazilian flair on the team. That's what's wrong right now. I mean, historically, Barcelona has done quite well bringing in some Brazilian talent, but we do have Rafinha.
We do.
Silence from the crowd. I get it. I get it. Well, so, but where's he going to play though? Because am I right? He kind of plays more left of center.
Yes, left to center. I think he should be sort of the striker to sub to Lewandowski. I don't know if he was going to play from the left position right from the get-go. I'm not too sure. I wouldn't really I don't have the knowledge to be able to tell you that information. But what I would do is that now that Gavi's gone, we just have João Felix, and that can play that position at the moment with Ferran Torres. So we may end up seeing Vitor Roque there a little bit more than we used to. Or we can go to the back five that I've been screaming for like ages.
What do you think, Pablo?
Yeah, I'm excited for Vitor Roque, to be fair. Like, he's been spoken about a lot, obviously, from Brazil. I can't say like I'm an expert on him, but I mean, at the same time, he looks like a finisher from what I've seen, so we need to get him the ball. I'm sure he'll be a little more mobile and alive than Lewandowski in some instances. So, something the more the merrier in the box, really, if he's going to do that. So I think last sort of moments of games, if him and Lewandowski can start moving about, and then there's no reason why they wouldn't, create a decent little partnership together, to be fair, certainly goals wise. So looking forward for him to come in. I think we do need to get him in as well, by the way. I just think he adds something to the team, a bit of spark, especially off the back of Gavi's injury. Young player, sort of like big feeler, young name, could be a bit of a superstar. So definitely adds something to the team. So actually could be exactly what we need in January. So quietly quite excited for Vitor Roque. And actually just on that point, like I'd always feel, by the way, that in the last 10 minutes of games, we're always like a different team. I was just like envisioning the last 10 minutes of games with Roque and Lewandowski on the pitch at the same time, and just made me think, like, when we have the last 10 minutes, we're sort of whipping balls in the box. I always feel like we're going to score. The other 80 minutes, I don't feel so confident.
Yeah. I'm looking at the table right now, and I know things feel pretty grim, but we are 4 points down from current league leaders Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Girona are going to be playing the day that this podcast is released. So we're recording on Sunday. This will be out on Monday. Girona are going to be playing. And maybe Athletic Club take a little chunk out of Girona. I don't know. All right. I don't think I'm dreaming big dreams. I don't think I'm asking too much. All of a sudden, let's say Girona get a draw. Even if they don't, they're 6 points up. They're got 34 points right now. Say they win. They go to 37. 6 points up, and Barcelona have them on the calendar coming up. It's not time to panic. We're in it. We're swimming around with everybody else. I think as long as we are within 2 matches, right? If it grows beyond 6 points, if it gets to 8 points, 9 points, that's when I'll start getting a little bit nervous, a little bit anxious. But a couple things. One, I don't think Girona are going to carry this through. I just don't. Okay, they're no Leicester City. All right. 2. Like I said,
I think they're better than Leicester City were at the moment. So
no, don't, absolutely not. Buga,
no. I'm saying that's a good thing. Leicester City won.
I'll get a ticket to Peru right now. I will get a ticket to Peru.
Worse.
I will fly down. I will slap you in the mouth for the disrespect that you were about to say on this podcast. You need to Conte, Mahrez, Jamie Vardy. You owe those gentlemen an apology. Excuse me, I'm triggered.
Bro, we didn't. Like, I'm not buying it. Like, nobody knew who Mahrez was before that season.
Exactly. All right, Girona, better get out of here, Buga.
No. I'm saying Leicester City are even like they had even less reputation, so that made them even more of a surprise. Like that made them even more difficult to win, to beat. Because you just didn't know what they were gonna do. Girona, it's like you respect it a little bit more because of Girona. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, sorry. Tiger got out of the cage.
She just got triggered for whatever reason.
Just Leicester holds a special place in my heart. Sorry.
Okay.
Anyway, where are we going to be at a month from now, folks? If we look at Barcelona's matches coming up.
I mean, you said it. Like, it's not... If we beat Atletico Madrid next game, right? And then if we beat Girona, which is the game after that.
We have to.
You're back in it.
Yep.
You're back in it. So it's not that
both at home.
Yeah, it's not like a huge deal. But the thing is that, are you confident that Barcelona can do it? Of course, I'm a Barca fan. I'm blinded by Xavi and whatever his magic is.
In Xavi we trust.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, if I'm thinking actually realistically a little bit, of course it's going to be hard. It's not the most 2 easy games. It's going to be the 2 hardest games so far this season, and we have Porto in between that. So.
Porto's coming up Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly.
Day after this podcast.
So it's like games are coming up. Games are coming up fast, and it's like do or die at 2 seasons ago. Like last season, I think it's this around this time we also fumbled. So let's not try to fumble again. And
October, November was pretty rough for us last year.
Yeah, so I think it's time to, like I said, get the wins that we usually wouldn't have got in the past 4 seasons. I think that's the main point I want to kind of strike through. It's good to be patient. We've done an incredible job, but this is like last season. Okay, I understand. Okay, I can bear with it. But this season, a year from that, when you can learn about it, I cannot accept it. I'm not saying Xavi out, but it's simply like it's not Barcelona. You cannot do that. Like I'm not saying Xavi out, but it's like
But you keep saying Xavi out though.
No, but I'm not saying Xavi out. I don't say Xavi out. What I mean is like it's simply not acceptable. It's like if we lose this game, we are at the same level as Manchester United.
Yeah.
Ooh. If we lose this, if we fumble October and November, we're deemed to be that.
Yuck. All right, so quick predictions then. Porto coming up next. We getting the 3 points. We righting the ship here. We heading in strong to Atletico next weekend. That confident, huh? Wow.
I think we get a draw.
Yeah, me too.
Porto at home.
Yes, we get a draw and we go like super nervy, trying to qualify in the last day of the Champions League, of the easiest group we've had in like a decade.
Surely, if we draw, we're through.
I mean, yeah, but like you never know.
Surely, I'm just thinking though. Well, maybe not.
If Royal Antwerp beat Shakhtar, no, actually that's good. Yeah, that's good. But I don't think it's gonna happen. I think Shakhtar's gonna beat Rayo Antwerp. So
yeah, so if we draw,
for me, it's not. Yeah, it's not just about getting out of the group, which I recognize we have not done the last couple of years, but we do need to come out top of this group.
Yeah.
So
we do.
There's just no excuse not to. So 2-1 Barca. We get an early goal. We get a second goal. Porto gets some crap goal late in the match just because we're struggling to keep clean sheets right now, and I don't think Ter Stegen's playing. But I'm going 2-1 to Blaugrana. Goals from Ferran. Goals from Lewandowski. I don't appreciate those giggles. I'm just feeling very disrespected on this podcast today, you guys. I just gotta say.
Sorry.
It's all right. What are you thinking, Pablo?
It was just Ferran. It was just Ferran.
Oh, that was it. That's what triggered the laugh.
Yeah. I just wonder whether we're still going to see the shark.
No, the shark's not going away.
Come on, baby.
The shark's not going away.
Do you reckon he's still?
Yeah. Look, listen to the podcast.
I saw his quotes. That's what made me laugh. I saw his quotes and I saw he played against Rayo and I thought, really?
Yeah, I know. I thought the same thing. But the one thing that actually made me a little bit calm about it was that he said like, I learned this year about patience because it's super easy for me to go. I scored the first like all the games in preseason. I scored the very first 2 games, and I scored a double, a brace, and I'm like the shark. Everyone's the shark, and it's like, no, I scored the double. Next day, I go to my trainer. Let's train the same way that we've been doing. Let's go this. Let's go that. No party. No PS5. No nothing. Like it's like keep the life going. Like keep your habits going. You're not gonna change because something goes bad. You're not gonna change because something goes good. You just need to live your life. And I feel that's something that's good technically. So and I kind of appreciate that.
Okay, no 2-1 Barca. Ferran and Lewandowski it is.
Yes. The shark.
Yes, indeed. The shark, baby.
Jesus Christ.
I am in love with Ferran Torres. Yes. I am.
I'm pulling for him. I've got high hopes for Ferran. I like where he's at right now. And he does more than score goals too. I think he creates space with his runs. He sets other players up. He's an unselfish player. He's a playmaker. I think he's going to do big things. So, yes, I think we get the win against Porto. We move through. We'll, of course, crush Antwerp. Easy peasy, right? But I'm very excited for the upcoming matches against Atletico Madrid and then Girona. Very excited for that. So we'll, of course, be discussing those up next in future episodes. Again, subscribe, like, share, 5-star ratings on Spotify, all the things. Boys, what else we got to discuss? Anything to wrap us up?
Let me think. No.
Well, quick note.
I don't know. Go ahead, Pablo.
I thought Romeo struggled again. Just quickly.
Oh yes, yes, sir.
I thought Frankie was going to be his savior, but not the case. Not the case.
I appreciate him, you know, like I appreciate.
I'm sure it's not his fault.
I'm sure he's a very nice guy.
Yeah. Friend of the pod, obviously.
You know, that's like the one thing you say when you don't like, you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Friend of the pod.
Oriol Romeo, friend of the pod. Along with Gio Reyna and who else is friend of the pod?
Oh my goodness.
A few others.
Yeah, we got plenty of friends.
We do.
Harry
Kane, friend of the pod.
Harry Kane, friend of the pod, doing big things this year.
Big friend of the pod.
Yes, indeed. Gio Reyna, friend of the pod. Yeah.
That girl the boy I went to watch sing.
Friend of the pod.
Yes. What was her name?
Who we were told was his cousin or something.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Behind the scenes. Speaking of behind the scenes. Boys, I don't know if you saw the news. I don't know if it hit your side of the pond. Big win for FC Cincinnati last night. Moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals. We are one more win away from the finals, boys. We're playing our biggest rival, in-state rival, Columbus. We're playing them. But
Columbus Crew?
Yes, indeed. But we got a lot of heat coming in.
When's the game?
What's that?
When's the game?
December 2nd.
Okay.
Wow.
I'll be there. And we're bringing in the MVP, Lucho Costa, the manager of the year, Pat Noonan, defender of the year, Matt Miazga. We got goal of the year. We got save of the year.
Matt Miazga.
He was first place
Chelsea.
in the league. We're doing big things.
He was at Chelsea, right, Pablo?
Yeah, he was.
Matt Miazga,
yes. Then he went to I don't know.
Anderlecht, I think.
Yeah, somewhere like that.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
I'm a big fan. Yeah. I really am. I hope that he gets another look for the U.S. men's national team sometime soon. He's got Christensen vibes in terms of big, enough pace to shut down the runs to the sidelines, good passing out of the back, lesser level, of course, but like his style. Plus, he is a shit talker. I love it.
Yes.
He was actually suspended for this previous match because after scoring his penalty kick in the shootout against his former club, New York Red Bulls, he goes over to their supporter section, starts blowing kisses and showing heart signs, just like, what? I love you. Why are you booing? I love you so much. And then gets a yellow card and suspended for the last match.
Love it.
But he'll be back for the semifinal.
There's a video of him talking. Who's the little kid that was from Mexico that played for Real Betis?
Yes, where he's just like, you're so small.
Who's that guy?
I love a good shit talking.
Diego Lainez. Yes.
Yeah.
There's a video of him talking to him. And who's the other semifinal? It's Columbus Crew versus Cincinnati on one side and the other.
I should know this. Actually, I don't think it's settled yet. Let me see here. No, so Houston Dynamo play Sporting KC, and Seattle Sounders play LAFC. Both of those are happening tonight. The winners will play in the semifinal. I'm going to guess it's going to be... I was going to say Sporting and LAFC, but I don't know. They're both the away teams. We'll see.
Okay.
So that's the update everybody was waiting for. I know everybody was hanging on to the end of the podcast to get the FCC update. So you're welcome, everybody.
So, guys.
Yep. I think that does it. Okay.
It's either going to be next spot, we're going to be like season's over or no.
Dude, yeah. But by next pod, we'll have Porto and Atletico Madrid out of the way. Okay. We'll see you then, folks. Thanks so much for listening.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Take care.